So you've learned the basics of genealogy research, but nobody really tells you what comes next. That's one of the biggest questions that I get from people is how do I further my genealogy education? What is the best way to learn more and become better at this? So today we're going to talk about some of the structured and kind of unstructured ways that you can further your genealogy education and become a much better researcher. This is episode one of the Formidable Genealogist Studio. You might have seen my reels across places like, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and there's a lot of stuff I just can't cover in those short 1 to 3 minute reels. So I want to do a little bit deeper dive and give you some more information through these episodes that are going to vary based on genealogy topics where I just talk about it, and then interviews with other people and conversations with other people in the field. So follow along because I'm not really sure where I'm going with this yet. But I wanted to talk about one very common thing that people did for genealogy education that no longer exists. Boston University used to have a certificate program, and it was a really hard program that people saw a lot of value in, but they have discontinued that. And also note that a certificate program is not the same thing as becoming certified. I'll talk about that more in episode 2. But let's go look at some different websites where you can further your genealogy education. The first one I am going to show you here is an unstructured way of learning more about different topics. And I think this is the best option for unstructured learning. And that's Legacy Family Tree Webinars. It is a company that is now owned by MyHeritage. So it would be part of an Omni subscription through MyHeritage, or it's a standalone one for just $49 per year. And they often have 50% off sales too around holidays and at Roots Tech, where you can get, almost 2,700 webinars here from 500 speakers for just like $25. It's a really good value. But even if you are not a paid subscriber, you can still view these webinars for free when they air. You can watch them live, and you can also watch them for up to a week after for free. Watch the recorded versions and the Q&A. Extremely helpful. I watch most of these that are relevant to my research. I get so much out of them. So far, I've only done one for them, but it's the top names in the field here. I recognize so many of these names and highly recommended. If we're going to go a little bit more structured, then I would recommend you check out the National Genealogical Society courses. They have a lot of different courses on their site, and especially the GenTech Toolbox. That one is really growing in popularity. So check those out. If you want to consider institute courses, there are 3 to 4 that I want to recommend to you. And these are usually deep dives on specific subjects. Some of them are in person, some are virtual, and they meet on varying levels. Like some are weekly virtual, and some are just like one intensive week. So this is the Genealogy Research Institute of Pittsburgh, if I have my acronym right, and they are now owned by National Genealogical Society. But they have in person in Pittsburgh, and then they also have virtual courses as well. So I recommend you just go check out all of these and see what types of courses exist and what you might want to consider. SLIG is another one, the Salt Lake Institute of Genealogy, I think, by the Utah Genealogical Association. And you can submit courses too. But they also have virtual in spring and fall, and they already have their 2027 ones out there. Let's see what we have for spring virtual. They have a multi-week spring institute. They've got DNA options. The Love of Romance Language Paleography with Debbie Gertler. She's awesome. She works at the Family Search Library in Salt Lake. Lots of different options. So check those out. This one is my personal favorite, IGHR, Institute of Genealogy and Historical Research from the Georgia Genealogical Society. And you can get a discount too by becoming a member of the Georgia Genealogical Society as well. I have done this institute course 2 times, 2 different courses. Last year, I did a virtual one that was pre-recorded, which was helpful because typically these meet for a week long during working hours. So it's hard if you are not a retired person. But I did one on research in the South. Everything was pre-recorded, so I watched at my own pace. And then there was a daily get together via Zoom with the instructors for discussions. The year before that, I did um, with David Rencher, who is the Chief Genealogical Officer of Family Search and President of NGS. He did one on Irish research, and that one was phenomenal. So I highly recommended that one. This one is GenFed, the Genealogical Institute on Federal Records, which is held in DC at the National Archives every year in August, I believe. This one is tough to get into. I tried this year, and I think they only had like 200 and, or wait, no, they had, just kidding. They had like 30 seats available. And so they do a drawing, a random drawing. But you get to go work in the National Archives and learn about the holding. So I'm going to prioritize that one for next year. I want to talk about conferencekeeper.org. This is the best place to go to find out which genealogy institutes and events exist. This is the main stopping point where you can see all of those different things. Because not only will you see where the different institute courses are, but you might see that some small town genealogical society is having a free webinar with a big name genealogist, and you want to attend it, and you can just sign on right through that. So highly recommend that as well. There is a weekly email that Tammy sends out from there too. You will not get spammed with loads of emails. You will just get pertinent information. A lot of people ask me about degrees in family history, like an actual college degree. The only place in North America that offers that is Brigham Young University. They do have a family history degree, a bachelor's degree. Now, typically that would be for people from the LDS Church, but people who are not members of the LDS Church are also welcome to attend BYU and earn this degree. There's one more I want to mention too. The University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, they have a degree as well. You can go to their Strathclyde Institute for Genealogical Studies, and you can do it virtually as well. So I hope you go check out some of these different ways to further your genealogy education, because you have to always keep learning with genealogy. There is always more to know. You can't possibly know everything. And even the most basic genealogy webinars or classes that I have attended, I learned something new, even from the most absolute beginner things. So keep learning.